What's going on, guys? Dirtsheet clocking in from the Spoiler Alert Network, and I'm coming at you today with a new episode of our web series Hype Train. If you guys aren't familiar with our Hype Train series, we do have a couple of videos on YouTube, and we're going to be diving heavily into this web series in the near future. What it is we're getting you guys excited about things that we're excited about here at the Spoiler Alert Network. Now, it can be about anything. It can be a new movie, it can be a new TV series, it can be a video game, maybe it's just something I saw on the sidewalk whenever I was outside while ago today. But we're just going to be getting you guys excited about things that we ourselves are excited about over here. Now, what I'm talking about today is Disney Plus. Now, this new streaming service rolls out November 12th, and what it is Disney is moving in a direction where they're going to kind of make a Netflix for all their content, if you will. It's going to be a streaming service, and they have their fingers in everything in media now. So there's going to be movies on here from Disney, from Pixar. There's going to be Star Wars films. There's going to be original series, all kinds of things on this streaming service. And it gets me excited because we're going to have things like the Loki series. We're going to have WandaVision. We're going to have Falcon and the Winter Soldier, all kinds of original series, not to mention all the Marvel movies that they've already done to date. Star Wars movies, we're going to have the Clone Wars series. There's all kinds of stuff that's going to be on this streaming service. And today I'm going to talk about a couple of the series that I'm excited for. We don't have much in the direction of the series yet. They've been very secretive. We do have some casting. So really all it is kind of theory throwing right now, but nonetheless we can still get excited for it. As I said, it goes live November 12th. We have a countdown online. I signed up for notifications. They email me on the regular because I don't have anything better going on. Take all my money, Disney. You've already took most of it. Might as well take it all. So without further ado, we're going to jump into this video, try to get you guys excited about Disney Plus. So, like I said, we have a bunch of confirmed series for this streaming service, along with movies we've seen in the past, whether it's comic book related series, which I'm most excited for, stuff like Moon Knight, She-Hulk, Miss Marvel. We also have a couple of real life series that are confirmed for the streaming service, such as Marvel's Hero Project. Now, this series is a non-fiction series that is the story of real life superheroes in their community. This series is going to show that you don't need a mythical hammer, or you don't have to be a super soldier, you don't have to have an advanced technological suit to make a difference in your community. That real people can make real differences in real life. And it's a bunch of young people, honestly, and I'm kind of excited for this series. I don't get excited about stuff like this often because it bores me. I'm not gonna lie, but we're going to see the story that some of these kids are trying to make a difference in their community and improve it for the better. So I'm really excited about this series. This one is going to be a 20-episode series. It is supposed to start streaming on the 12th, the same day that the service itself is going to go live. So I'm a little excited for this one. So the next series that I'm getting a little excited for is The World According to Jeff Goldblum. Now, this series is just going to be Jeff Goldblum doing Jeff Goldblum things. He is going to take an everyday item that we don't think much about. Maybe it's an air conditioner, or a shoe, or ice cream, or the quarter. I don't know. It's going to be just an everyday object, and Jeff Goldblum is going to reveal some really baffling and astonishing history as well as science behind the object, with the goal to make us look at this item differently than we have before. It's kind of a cool concept for a series because this magnificent, intelligent human being is going to make us look at everyday items differently than we already do. Maybe put some more perspective into it. So I'm actually really excited for this series as well, and I can't wait for this one to hit Disney Plus. Okay, so now we're getting to the good stuff. Now we're getting to the comic book related MCU TV series. And pretty much every series I'm going to talk about in the video after this is an MCU series. So buckle up because we're about to jump in. Now, the very first series that I'm getting super excited for is the WandaVision series. Now, this is a very curious series. We've had a couple of trailers, but honestly, the trailers have raised more questions than they have answers. There's very little known about this series besides the casting. We know that Scarlet Witch is coming back, and we know that Vision is going to be back. Now, the reason this is curious is because the last time we seen Vision was in Infinity War, when Thanos ripped the Mind Stone off of his head and was like, hey, it's mine now. Boom, deactivate Robo Guy, he's dead. We haven't seen him since. And in the events of Endgame, when everybody got brought back, that's when we seen Wanda come back off of the Hulk snapping. But somebody who didn't come back was Vision, because he wasn't biological life. He wasn't killed in the events of Thanos' snap. He was just straight murked by Thanos. So I'm going to be curious how they reactivate Vision, or how they revive him, if you will, because uh, I really don't know. There's a lot of theories going around, but none of them are set in stone. This is going to be a mini series. It's going to start before the events of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and then eventually it's going to cross over into the same timeline. So it's going to have a huge role in Phase 4, but we're going to have to wait for it because it's not going to come out until 2021. So still going to get excited about it though. Super stoked for this series, and I'm curious to see where the MCU goes with the direction of these two characters. So the next miniseries that was confirmed for the Disney Plus streaming service was Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Now this is going to be a very interesting series because it's going to focus heavy on the fallout of Steve Rogers stepping down as Captain America. We've seen in Avengers Endgame he came back and he handed off the shield to Falcon, dubbing him the next Captain America. We know that in the comic books, both Bucky and Sam at points take over. Bucky has been introduced as the White Wolf, and we know that he's not going to be taking over for Captain America. Bucky's going to have his own character. So it's really interesting to see what they're going to do with Falcon from here on out, because we've seen in an interview that Falcon stated that he's not taking over as Captain America. We don't know whether this is redirection for the sake of the universe, or whether he's actually being honest. Maybe this series is going to focus on him trying to find somebody who's worthy to take over for Captain America. In that case, I have no idea who he'll hand the shield off to. Or it could be about Bucky trying to convince Sam that he is worthy, and that Steve wouldn't have trusted him with the shield if he didn't think he was capable of stepping up. Disney Plus has been very good about being very vague with all their series, so we don't know much more than that. We do have casting for this series. Maybe we don't know much because Tom Holland isn't in the MCU anymore, so he's not spoiling things. Sad face. We do know that David Brühl and Emily Van Camp have been cast to come back for this miniseries. Brühl played Zemo in Captain America Civil War. We've seen that Black Panther stopped him from trying to kill himself on the mountainside, so we know that he is incarcerated and alive. And then Emily Van Camp played Sharon Carter, who is Peggy's grandniece, and Slumdog Steve made out with both of them. Which is kind of weird because Steve went back and lived out a full life with Peggy Carter, so I guess would technically make Sharon his grandniece. And I don't know. Maybe he's Captain Kentucky now because that sounds like incest. But nonetheless, I'm very, very excited about this series, and I'm curious to see the fallout of Captain America retiring. So the next series that has been confirmed for the Disney Plus streaming service is Hawkeye. Now, originally a lot of people were thinking this was going to be a solo series devoted solely to the character of Clint Barton, but more popular theories suggest that this is going to be a series to set up for future events in the MCU. Now, what Disney has been very good about is cementing characters for the future of the universe after the older actors leave. And we do know that Jeremy Renner and his arrow slinging, vocal singing abilities will eventually exit the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So I think they're going to use this series to set up for a character after Hawkeye. Now, we do not know much about this series because, again, as I've said 47 times in this video, Disney is being very, very vague with their miniseries. But what we do have is casting, which means theories, and we know for sure that Disney is pursuing Haley Steinfeld for a lead role in this series. And one of the popular theories going around is that she could play Kate Bishop if she gets cast for this series. Now, Kate Bishop in the comics is a character who took over for Hawkeye after Hawkeye stepped down or whatever in the events of whatever comic arc that you were reading, maybe became Ronin. But nonetheless, it's going to be very interesting because we've seen it to start Avengers Endgame. Barton was teaching his daughter archery skills. So maybe we thought that he was setting her up to take over as Hawkeye. So now it's very curious because we have two possible characters to take over the mantle of Hawkeye after Clint Barton. So I'm really excited for this series because it is going to set up for a very heavy series afterwards, focusing heavily on future character development. So I'm curious to see where this one goes. So the final series that I'm going to touch on today is the series that I'm arguably most excited for on this streaming service, and that is the Loki TV series. This is going to be a 6 to 8 episode miniseries focusing very heavily on our very, very lovable character, Loki, who is arguably one of the best villains that I've seen in the MCU to date. A lot of people really like Loki, but there's a bit of a twist to this. This is not the same Loki that we remember towards the end of his character run in Avengers Infinity War and Thor Ragnarok. Now, it started out Loki was a pure villain. He was an asshole. And then towards the events of Thor Ragnarok, he had this very redeeming character arc, and we grew to sympathize and love Loki as a character. He saved his relationship with Thor and ended up sacrificing himself for Thor. So it was a very cool arc, and he really redeemed himself as a character. Now, the last major event that we've seen happen to Loki was in Avengers Endgame. There was the time heist, and they actually went to an alternate timeline, and Loki got a hold of the Tesseract in the events of the very first Avengers. This was way back when Loki had no good intentions. He couldn't trust this man. Now, the last thing we seen happen to him was him getting ragdolled by the Hawk. So a lot of those redeeming character traits have not happened or developed yet. This is not the Loki you remember. This is the shenanigan raising Loki. So we're going to see the activities that he partakes in as he jumps across the universe with the Tesseract, engaging in various adventures. This series is set to release in spring of 2021 between the second Doctor Strange and Marvel's What If animated series. I'm very excited for it because it's supposed to have heavy, heavy consequences and tie in very heavily to the direction they want to go in Phase 4. So I'm really excited to see what happens with this series. Alright guys, thanks for joining me today. That's all the time I have. I hope that this video got you guys excited about Disney Plus and maybe encourages you to do some research, sign up for the notifications. You can actually get online, just type in Disney Plus on any browser and it'll take you to this preview. You get this nifty little timer here. 60 days, 9 hours, 52 minutes, and 7 seconds right now. And that's how much time we have until this service goes live on November 12th. While you guys are online checking that out, you should also check out our page, the Spoiler Alert Network. We are on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. You guys can check us out. Like this video, give it a thumbs up, get involved. Tell me what you think about Disney Plus. Let me know how excited you are for this series, or maybe you're not excited at all. Just give me some feedback. Alright guys, with that being said, Dirtsheet clocking out. Stay dedicated, boys.